Good evening, and thank you so much, Wine Crew, for joining me tonight, this Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. Tonight, I want to discuss two Sauvignon Blanc wines from two different wine regions, and I'm also going to have a small educational presentation as well. First, I want to say why I'm starting this wine series. I wanted to always have an educational series to share with the everyday wine drinker. I want to make sure that wine is approachable and fun. One of my goals for 2020 was to have more videos. I know here we are at the end of April, and I'm finally getting around to creating my educational series. I've been dabbling a little bit here and there through videos with Instagram, and now I want to try it live streaming. This broadcast is not only just through Facebook, it is also available on YouTube, and right now I'm also on Instagram Live. So tonight's focus will be here on Facebook as I share my presentation. For those that are on Instagram, I will not be reading comments tonight, but feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you at a later time. So I'm going to be sharing the screen fully, so you will not be seeing me as much. Okay, we're going to present. Wait 1 second. Okay, so as I said before, thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm going to be discussing Sauvignon Blanc. I'm going to be talking about the aromas, the flavors that are most commonly experienced. I'm also going to go briefly over some style, just a little bit info. I'm not going to be going into so much detail with the old world and new world with maps. That is more advanced than I'd like it to be. We're going to keep it a little bit more simple. I'm going to make sure this presentation is within 30 minutes, and that is one of my goals for this educational series. So Sauvignon Blanc, it's from the Loire, France, and the most common aromas and flavors that are obtained from this wine is gooseberries, honeydew, melon, grapefruit, white peach, grass, green bell pepper. And, you know, that's subjective. You know, everyone's palate is a little bit different. I've had some Sauvignon Blanc where I've tasted gooseberries. For example, for the wines today, I have none of those aromas or flavors, but that will come later. I feel as though New Zealand, you experience more of those grassy notes and more of those green bell pepper and gooseberry. And you have to understand that Sauvignon Blanc, it grows in cooler climates, but it can also thrive in warmer regions where you're going to get more of those tropical fruits. And for styles, I'm going to bring it to Fumé Blanc. So this is a term coined by Robert Mondavi in California, and he made his wine that is similar to the style that you would find in the Loire. And he marketed his wine with, you know, Sauvignon Blanc aging in oak barrels or blending with a Semillon grape, which is also the same style, as I said, found in France. But to kind of market it where you're not, he didn't want to just call it Sauvignon Blanc here in California. He wanted to make more elegant. So that's where the Fumé Blanc is. Sauternes is another area in France where you can find Sauvignon Blanc, but it's often blended with Semillon or Muscadel. Oftentimes, you're going to find Sauvignon Blanc as a dry still wine, just your everyday wine bottles that you find at the store. However, you can come across sparkling wine, in particular in regions such as Marlborough, New Zealand, and in South Africa. Old World wine regions. So I'm going to go over these 4. In France, as stated, the Loire Valley is like its most common, its epitome of this grape variety. There's also Burgundy and Bordeaux, as I said, Sauternes. We also have, in the Loire. When it comes to French wines, you're not going to find on the label Sauvignon Blanc. You're going to be finding the regions. So, for example, and I stated this in an earlier Instagram post, when you're thinking of the Loire, keep in mind these are some of the names or the regions you should be looking for. So we have Sancerre, Puy-Fumé, Menetou-Salon, Quinçay, Réully, Cheverny, Touraine, Burgundy, Saint-Brie, Bordeaux, Pessac-Légon, and Graves. So pardon my French, I'm probably butchering most of these names, but that's how I would say it. Now in Spain, it's Rueda, and in Italy, we have Alto Adige, Trentino, Friuli Venezia Giulia, and Austria Steiermark, which is like the lower region of Austria. That's where you can find Sauvignon Blanc and where it thrives and does well. So I stated here I have 3 wines from those old world regions that I kind of found online with higher marks and kind of to give you an idea of what some of these wine labels would look like. So starting with France, we have Pessac-Légon. There's a rating of 3.9. It's roughly around $26. That's what that would look like. So at this wine label, you're going to see the wine region is labeled on the bottom. You have the appellation, like the specific portion there, and up top it says Grand Vin de Graves. So that's where that region is in France. And in the middle we have an Austrian wine from Steiermark. It says Sauvignon Blanc. That was given a rating of 4.0 and is around $20. And lastly, there is an Italian wine from Alto Adige, rating of 4.0, and it's around $17. So here you go with old world wine regions. And I just wanted to go across the board, some of those prices, kind of to compare the quality and the price range. So you don't have to be spending, over $30 or even $50. You can find great quality wines at these prices with those ratings. For New World wine regions, we have Chile, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and the United States. For Chile, I shared a post today on Instagram about Coquimbo, and another part you can find this variety is Aconcagua and Central Valley. For South Africa, the coastal region includes several appellations, Stellenbosch, Pearl, also Breed River Valley. For New Zealand, you have Marlborough, Nelson, Canterbury, all found on the South Island of New Zealand. And in Australia, across the board, you start in the west with Margaret River, and then you move to the east where you have Adelaide Hills and Victoria. And lastly, you have the United States of America, California. In particular, we have Sonoma, Mendocino, Santa Barbara. So those are some regions you can find on your wine labels. Also in Washington, you have Columbia Valley. Again, I'm sharing 3 wines across the New World wine regions. We have Stellenbosch, which represents South Africa. You can find a rating of 4.4 out of 5. This is what these ratings are. And you can find it for $9. I know for a fact this label, Spire maybe, can be found in Total Wines. Cloudy Bay is a very popular choice coming from Australia with a rating of 4.1. Marlborough, again, it's one of the epitome regions for this grape besides the Loire, and this comes in around $28. And lastly, from California, we have Bennett Valley, and it's $30 with a rating of 4.2, and this could be found in Sonoma County. So again, this is just across the board, giving you a range from $9 to $30, great quality wines. So these are my references. I had Vivino, which is my go-to wine rating site. Total Wines, I kind of get an idea of the price ranges. Wine Folly for their popular aromas and flavors, also the wine regions. Wine Searcher is also a great site that I use. And lastly is Rally Windows of the World. That's one of my go-to books that I read for learning about regions and styles. So this is, again, this wine crew is one of my small projects that I'm doing this year for 2020. I want to be doing virtual wine tastings. Right now I'm working on creating a little group where we're going to do some virtual tastings online together, especially since this pandemic, we're unable to meet in person. So I figured why not start virtually? There's a lot of people out there studying for wine, and well, in order to learn about wine, you have to taste wine. And in this case, if you're tasting in a group, you can learn from one another. Everyone has a different palate, and let's say gooseberry I can pick up, but perhaps this other person in the group cannot. So we're going to go off of one another and enhance our palates. And we're going to be learning about grape varieties, regions, and styles. All in a fun way, all in fun, really. So these are my social media handles. In Twitter, starting Monday, I'm going to be doing one wine fact of the day. For Facebook, I'm going to be sharing my live presentations as such right now, educational videos, some blog posts when I get to it, also some wine articles and other news that I'm sharing from other Facebook groups. And lastly, Instagram, where I share my wine reviews, my events, and the wine series. So I am now concluding April's Noble Grape theme of Sauvignon Blanc. I'm now going to be sharing the 2 wines that I have tonight. If you are interested in joining this virtual tasting group, please email me at collaborations@amyoncloudwine.com. So that concludes my short presentation. I am now moving to the tasting portion. Okay, so once again, I am tasting Sauvignon Blanc tonight. My first region that I would like to share is from the Loire, in particular Sancerre. And that is one of the major regions that this grape is a perfect example. This is a 2019 vintage. And these wine glasses that I'm tasting this wine in is Rode. I'm going to show you the box on which it came, because you can purchase this on Amazon. It comes in a set of 3. So I now have white wine glasses and red wine glasses. Okay, so first, the way I taste wine is through the acronym STABA. So we have sweetness, tannins, acidity, body, and alcohol. So this, oh, I didn't read the label, did I? So this Sauvignon Blanc is Franck et Sylvain Godin. let's see if we can get a better. There we go. So this one was $12. Interestingly enough, it is a screw top. And let me just grab, okay. So this wine, I would say, is pale straw in color, maybe a tint of green. All right. For body, I would say medium minus. I do see the legs coming down on the nose. I have my notes here. So my first impression when I get a wine is I actually open it up at room temperature. And then I go and chill it to its proper temperature and serving temperature. And then I reevaluate. So my first impression of this wine was its tropical notes. I got guava first. I had peach and honey, floral notes, and upon aftertaste, I had banana. So now this is served at its proper chilled temperature. And let's give it a try on aromas again. I am getting more herbaceous notes as it's chilled. I am getting that green bell pepper, floral, and peach. Okay, on the palate. So I have like that alcohol sensation, the burning sensation. I would say it's medium high. I still think it's balanced because I'm tasting like it with an elegant finish. So I have a nice saline finish, long finish, it's still going, and it's semi-dry. I do have some like residual sugar. Oh, that's hard to say. Residual sugar, and it's not very fruit forward at all. It's more of a minerality going on. I'm tasting some citrus. I'll go with some lemon or lime, perhaps. I would rate this wine a 4 out of 5. I think it's a nice example of the region. I also like its acidity. I would give the acidity also a 4 out of 5. Let's see, we did body, we did acidity. The alcohol, I said, is medium high. The sweetness is semi-dry, and tannins, none because it's a white wine, and it was filtered. This is the French Sauvignon Blanc from Sancerre in the Loire Valley. Next, I am sharing a wine from Chile. This is Equilibrio, EQ, and it is a Sauvignon Blanc from Casablanca, DO Valley de Casablanca. EQ stands for Equilibrio, Spanish word for balance. The windswept vineyard of Valle Hermoso, just 13 kilometers from the Pacific Ocean, gives birth to this expressive Sauvignon Blanc. The cool climate and strong coastal winds help to control the natural vigor of vines, thus achieving a perfect balance between plant growth and fruit ripeness. Valle Hermoso delivers an elegant and nuanced wine, both fresh and ripe with underlying minerality. Okay. Again, it was another screw top wine. I see that perhaps this is where the wine industry is going. We're kind of getting rid of the cork and the synthetic cork and moving more towards the screw tops. There's been a few articles saying that it maintains the aromas and flavors of the wine longer. It doesn't let the air in, which leads to oxidation, which then changes the wine's flavors. So here we go with Equilibrio from Valle de Casablanca in Chile. So my goal tonight was to have two different wines being compared to one another. Turns out they're very similar. Upon first impression of this wine, I had tropical fruits. It was very strong, very predominant tropical fruits. I had papaya, passion fruit, and mango. Upon flavors of opening the bottle at room temperature, mango was there, a saline finish. I did believe it wasn't as balanced as the one from Sancerre, but it is more fruit forward. And its alcohol is actually higher at 13.5%. And I think that's why I felt as though it wasn't balanced. The balance, the alcohol and the finish, it wasn't there. But this wine is very affordable. This wine was at, I believe, $11. Okay, so now that it's chilled, now that I'm aerating it, allowing the air to come in, let's go for those aromas. Again, I'm getting those tropical fruits. It's more subtle than it was at room temperature. Floral notes. I'm going to go with the passion fruit. That's what I smell the most. Okay, for body, again, it's medium minus body. On the palate, definitely more fruit forward. I'm tasting the tropical notes again. Passion fruit, mango, a nice saline finish. Again, as I read from the back of the bottle, there's the Pacific Ocean that has a role in the making of this wine, its influence on the vineyards itself. Again, the alcohol is high. I do not feel as though it is as balanced, but I do enjoy it. I never had a wine from Chile, and I'm happy to be tasting it as a Sauvignon Blanc. I see I have some comments. Hi, Samantha. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And Jennifer, thank you so much for joining tonight. So I didn't say the color. So again, I'm going to go with a more golden color than before. I'm going to do my best in trying to compare both the colors. So we have Chile and we have France. One is in the Northern Hemisphere and the other is in the Southern Hemisphere. So both are varieties. Sauvignon Blanc is in the cool regions. One has the Pacific Ocean as an influence, and the other has the Loire River in France. So both had saline finishes. Again, the Sancerre, I got guava, peach, honey, floral notes, and an aftertaste of banana, which is like a tertiary. It has to do with like the microbes of the wine. So that was very interesting. It's very rare that I come across a banana-like flavor. And then for the Chilean wine, we had papaya, passion fruit, and mango. Alcohol for the Sancerre was 12.5 and Chile was 13.5. For Chile, again, I would give this wine a 3 out of 5, just because it was not balanced on my palate at all. I think both were a great choice. I should have chosen a wine from California to really contrast one another. But I really just wanted to go for a region I never had before, and that's why I chose Chile. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Daniel, I'm going to share your comment. Okay, I'm sipping a Mountain Shadows 2019 Sauvignon Blanc, pale straw in color, grass and white peach aroma, above average acidity, tasting some kind of meaty tropical fruit, maybe guava. So I'm going to comment, I have to say, describing tropical fruits is quite hard. I'm still learning it myself. And papaya, guava, and passion fruit. I don't really know the difference, but something, I kind of went with my gut when I said guava and papaya and passion fruit. I'm very, very familiar with mango, you know, but it's definitely something hard. It just, again, in order to determine these flavors and aromas, you just have to keep trying different wines, and especially from different regions. And that's what my whole outlook of wine is. You have to explore new wines and new regions to get that experience. Agreed. I think I need to taste guava and papaya back to back. Hard for me to tell the difference by memory alone. It really is. I think I've read a way in which you can do this. A lot of people, go to the grocery store, buy these produce items, and you can try to have them, how do I word this? You can take a wine like Pinot Grigio, something that's very light, and you can take your produce and you're going to put it in the wine. So let's say I'm putting banana in there, or I'm putting in the papaya, and then you're going to cover it with like the cellophane we have, and you're just going to let it sit for hours, and then you're going to be able to train your senses by smelling through aromas. I think that's the best way to do it. I see a lot of people that buy jams in those flavors, and that's how you can also enhance your palate. I have yet to do that myself, but now that summer is here in the Northern Hemisphere on the way, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those fruits coming into play. So now is the time to start enhancing your palate. Also, I have one product that I'm selling. You can find it on my Facebook and Instagram. I am now selling this shirt, Wine Crew. It comes both in men and women's sizes small to 2XL, maybe even extra small to 2XL. I have a variety of colors. Check that out. I think it's a fun way to support that we are learning wine, and you're part of the crew. We're learning about wine all together, and it's something supportive in the wine community. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to ask away. Other than that, it is 8:32, and I'm going to be wrapping up. I do want this series to be a small presentation, introduce the wines, introduce what I'm tasting, the comparison, and all within like a 30-minute, because we're all busy. All right, if there aren't any questions, I can still answer them. There are going to be a few people that are going to be watching the replay. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Again, if you have any questions, leave them here in the comments. There's going to be the replay here on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it again. Everyone, I hope you explore new wines, and cheers. Good night.